Shane fucking Mara. Shiver Cat on the drum.
It's like you go out there, you know, he doesn't care if you fuck up. But he cares if he thinks that you're not giving your all. That's what will piss him off. That conscious decision of like playing that show like it is your last is a really great maxim to embrace the live situation. So it's all easy to play within yourself and do what you know you can do and be safe. Like I'm saying, like with the record Live at Continental, if we had known that was recorded, I think you would have played within so you wouldn't fuck up. But it's, you know, it's only sort of clicked recently for me that you have to take risks. You have to just go out there and do what you do as best as you can to the best of your ability.
Playing music live, where else can you get that outlet? It's always instantaneous, it's spontaneous, it's often hilarious, sometimes it's rotten. It's always worth it though, you know? My best friend, he was a guitar player and he was a really good one. This is when we were about 15 or 16. And he had one of those long harmonicas in the drawer. And he gave it to me and I put sticky tape over one of the holes.
I started learning classical guitar pretty early, when I was about 13, I think.
Yeah, I remember it was a Hohner marine band. It came in a cardboard box and it was wrapped in sort of wax paper and it had this little slip of paper in it. It was talking about using your tongue in a certain way and I'd always screw it up and throw it away. And then I learned like 35, 40 years later that was the key. They were talking about this technique called tongue blocking where the great tone merchants of harmonica, they use that technique.
I immediately put a pickup on the classical guitar and plugged it into my mother's reel-to-reel tape recorder and tried to make it sound like an electric guitar.
I remember buying that harmonica and it cost $6.50 and it was in the key of C. And at first I was a bit at sea with it because I was used to having one that long, you know?
So I was playing the repertoire, the classical repertoire, as well as being freaked out by, you know, Goat's Head Soup by the Rolling Stones.
I was listening to anything with a mouth organ on it, but I wasn't mimicking blues guys, I was mimicking the Rolling Stones and the Beatles.
Hearing something and just being drawn to it and like having the need to work it out.
I didn't have access to blues music, I was just a white kid in the suburbs, you know.
I think my parents were sort of had realised, you know, he's a goner with all this music caper. It's an odd thing to talk about what you do, to describe that language of playing of music. Like, I guess that's what you meant too about subtlety and nuance. It's the more you get into your craft, the more things like tone and that becomes more important.
In the early 70s, there was a sort of underground music paper in Melbourne called the Daily Planet. Broderick Smith had a music column in there about blues stuff, and he'd talk about these guys, Little Walter, Sonny Boy Williamson. I go, well, who the hell are they?
When I think back into the formative years of when you first heard certain records and how mesmeric they were.
But there was these record shops in Melbourne, they called them cutout shops, and they'd have bulk consignments of albums that nobody sort of wanted, and they'd always have a cut, the corner of the album cut off.
I was a member of the World Record Club, is that what it was called? So you could order records. And
I went in there one time and there was Little Walter and Sonny Boy Williamson all on chairs. I thought, oh God, and they were $6 each, so I grabbed Little Walter and I grabbed Howlin' Wolf and I took them home and put them on and they just blew my mind, you know? Like, this is what he's talking about.
Back in the day, you know, we had to wait for the vinyl record to be released. And I can remember, like, say, getting a Not Is As Good to Wink to a Blind Horse, as a Wink to a Blind Horse, in the post and opening it up and thinking, that's really weird, these sort of stuffed animal cover and little dolls and things. But it became this sort of whole mystery thing. Or when getting Led Zeppelin 4 for the first time and thinking, what the fuck is this cover about, you know? And then actually putting that on and playing it and just this sort of incredible sound.
Like the Stones and they're great, but wow, this guy, Little Walter, and Howlin' Wolf is like he's from another planet. I didn't understand it all at the time.
Go to messages.
We've had some extraordinary experiences together, Shane and I, with music and spilling over into personal stuff, you know?
Type in that. Backstage, he just sits there like a Buddha. And then you walk on stage and he just explodes. And that is so incredible to have that energy from someone. And you have to run with it.
On that album, he was sort of the anchor for the whole deal, you know? He knew the songs, he'd help me record them, he knew them inside out. He's a beautifully sensitive accompanist for a singer. And those sort of skills have moved across into his work as a producer, you know. He's able to get inside the skin of the people that are singing their songs and help them make them better than they would be otherwise, you know.
All performers are different, but with Chris, it's like he unleashes something. And he doesn't do anything by halves, you know. His heart and soul is in every single note he plays.
They leave their bloody tracks along the paths they've traveled.
He's a big man, but he's a gentleman.
I see it, yeah. Oh, you gone. Hey, yeah. Oh, you gone.
I love what I'm doing. I do. I genuinely love what I do. I've got no regrets about it at all. I just love the way that it is, and I think I've had a really, really good run. I don't think it's over yet, but I just want to thank you for coming down tonight. It's wonderful to play to more than 10 people. Doesn't happen to me that often. I won an award at the Cherry Bar last year for the smallest audience of the year. And there was nobody there. I once did a gig in Carlton at a venue. Nobody came and the barman left halfway through the gig. I thought it was like that philosophical question, if the mighty oak falls in the forest and there's nobody there to hear it, did it actually fall? And I thought, well, I'm going to answer that question, so I did all the songs I was going to play. Basically, I played with myself. And at the end, 2 people came in and I said, sorry, I finished. So this is a real novelty for me. And it's a pleasure to be playing with Shane O'Mara, ladies and gentlemen. Live at the Continental sort of was, in a way, a culmination of what I'd done up to that point. It was one of those nights when everything came together. Shane and Jex just played beautifully.
And we didn't know it was being recorded. Chris maintains that he didn't, but I think he did and just chose not to tell us. Which, either way, if he did know it, and it's a genius thing not to tell us, because you wouldn't have got that performance, I don't think.
That was a really fruitful period for me. I was really in the company of really, really excellent musicians that put my musical well-being way above their own.
Goddamn anticipation.
I was incredibly fortunate, you know.
As coquettish as a bride. Goddamn your sense of isolation. Your sense of hollowness inside.
The Continental was a venue that was, like, it had an incredible history in there. Because I remember doing supports for Lucinda Williams the first time she came out here. You know, and there was just an array of international acts that went through there. And also it was a beautiful balance of international and the local acts that rubbed shoulders together, you know. So that room had a certain feeling about it where you really wanted to do your best.
Take a look outside your window.
A lot of those arrangements were very open, you know, not rehearsed. That's what became such a great part of the night.
It was a seat of the pants sort of night that worked, and so there's a certain sort of energy in that, I guess.
And also playing acoustic guitar and Hammond organ and grand piano was something that we had never done. So it was very fresh.
Funny night, because it was recorded on a Friday night at the Continental. And the Friday night was always difficult. It was like everybody'd knocked off from work. They'd all gone to the pub, grabbed something to eat and raced down to the venue. And I was really talkative on a Friday. It was like a song-by-song proposition. You had to win them every song.
One of the things that make that such a great album is that, you know, there were 3 disparate, perhaps, people coming in and performing.
I mean, I had worked with Jex in various venues and gigs. He was a friend, you know, an incredible piano player.
I particularly remember those beautiful Hammond sounds.
Again, he's another person who accompanies you with incredible sensitivity. Like they play to the song, you know? I mean, I know it's a cliche, you know, and we play to the song, but they do. They've got an amazing sense of what's required to help you express what you're trying to express in a song.
Simply waiting on a friend to come and take you for a ride.
I've always been really lucky in that I've had people around me who are always way better doing what they did than I ever was at what I was doing, you know.
Of all the records I have been involved with, played on, recorded, by far Live at the Continental is the one most commented on by people. For some reason, it just resonated with so many people, and still does.
It's always been a romantic pursuit for me, you know. Sometimes I get pissed off and jaded about it, but only because I love it so much, and it always renews. I've gone to play gigs feeling sick and come out feeling well. So it's restorative. It gives me a creative outlet that at the age of 60, when I look around me, I'm incredibly fortunate to have.
They're gonna take you for a ride.